still got a little game. All right. Angie Paccione. Use your hands to say it. I don't have a drop of Italian, though, because that's my stepdad's name. I grew up in the South Bronx in New York. Anybody from New York here today? Oh, I have a few. Okay, great. I grew up in the South Bronx. My mom was an unwed teen black girl, and at the time, she and my grandmother, two very strong black women, told me that I could be anything I wanted to be in my life, at a time when they couldn't, because this was before the Civil Rights Movement. This was before the Women's Rights Movement. It was before my mom and my birth father could be legally married in all 50 states. That didn't happen until 1967. So I was born in 1960. Don't do the math, but I was born a long time ago, and that was before many of these movements. So they couldn't be all that they wanted to be, but they told me I could, and I believed them. And so I moved in that direction. And when I was in 8th grade, I was playing basketball because my brother played basketball. You grew up in New York, you got to play basketball, right? I grew up watching the New York Knicks from a young girl. And I was playing in this little tournament. I was like in 8th grade. And some dad came down out of the stands and came right to me. I thought he was mad at me for some reason. And he said, "Young lady, you are the best girl basketball player I have ever seen. You have potential." I think it might have been the first time I'd heard that word. How many of you have been told in your life that you have potential? How many of you have been told that? Should be almost everybody in here. So I got fascinated with the word as a young girl, and I've studied that word pretty much all my life, and that's what I want to just talk about, what that means. The scientific definition of potential is stored energy. Like a battery. A battery has potential. It has stored energy. That battery won't do anything by itself unless you connect something to it. You have to activate the potential that exists in a battery. Right? Shake your head if you're following with me. The natural state of potential is unactivated. That's the natural state of potential. Unactivated. We have to activate it. The human definition, or the Paccione definition of potential, is stored greatness. And we all have it. Every single one of us has stored greatness, but the natural state of it is unactivated. Millions and millions of people go to their graves never having activated their potential. It's up to us to activate potential. Potential can also be deactivated. It can also be deactivated. If you take the battery and you unplug it, or unplug the thing, it gets deactivated. The power doesn't get activated. Well, it's the same thing with us as humans. We can be deactivated. And unfortunately, teachers, coaches, counselors are often the people who deactivate the potential of our students. I'm sure, I don't want you to raise your hand, but I'm sure that many of you have had someone tell you you couldn't do something, or you shouldn't try to go to that school, or you're not smart enough to do this, or you're not, or maybe, let me see, how many of you had someone say that to you? Raise your hand if you've ever had someone, yeah, and the fact that you're here means you overcame their attempt to deactivate your potential. So I was a basketball player. Thank you. I was a basketball player as well, and I was the first African-American full-ride basketball scholarship player at Stanford University. You may have heard of Stanford. Stanford's that small school out in California. You may have heard of it. And then when I graduated from Stanford, I played a little bit of pro basketball in Europe, and then I played in the WABA before the WNBA. And as a professional athlete, we like to give back to the community in which we're playing. And so one of the things that I like to do was do prison ministry work. They would always send two professional athletes in together. And so one time I went in with a professional baseball player, and he would tell the story about how when he was a young boy, he and his dad would play catch in the backyard. And his dad would say to him, "You're going to be a major league catcher one day. You're going to be a major league catcher one day." And he became a major league catcher because he said it was the power of the spoken word in his ear that got him through all of the setbacks. Whenever he had maybe a bad coach or a bad team or maybe he had an injury, he would hear his dad's voice saying, "You're going to be a major league catcher one day," and that would power him through. He had potential. His potential was activated by the power of the spoken word. As we were leaving the prison, an inmate came up to us and said, "My dad always said I'd end up in prison." Also the power of the spoken word to deactivate potential. There's lots of ways that we can activate potential. You're here, you've been here, and you're here at the closing plenary panel. Not everybody's here, but you're here. And that you are here shows that you still want to grow and learn and see what we have to offer you. You have the opportunity to activate your potential just by some of the words, some of the stuff that we're saying up here. But there's other things. I would not have been able to activate my potential if it wasn't for Title IX. Some of you know what that is. That gave girls the same opportunities as boys had. I was the first class of scholarship athletes. If it wasn't for the scholarship, there's no way I could have gone to Stanford. And Stanford allowed me to activate fully other potential, not just my athletic potential, but my academic potential. I am now the executive director of the Department of Higher Education. I'm a member of the governor's cabinet. That's pretty good stuff. So, the other power to activate potential is the power of connection. It's the power of connecting. I can't help myself. I think it's a Native American credo that treat everyone you meet as if you were related to them somehow. And I do that. So I connected right away. I said, "Oh man, I'm a fan of the New York Knicks." And do you know Chauncey Billups? Did you play with Chauncey? So I coached against Chauncey. I coached against Chauncey. I was the first woman in the history of Colorado to coach boys high school varsity basketball. So I coached the boys, 4 years. Took it through the state playoffs. Tried to connect with you because I said what?
Blood, Sweat, and Tears, your uncle
My
played
godfather,
sax,
yep.
and you were maybe surprised that I knew who that band was, but they're great.
That's right. So trying to connect with people, find a way to connect. That's what helps us get to that unity. If finding a way to connect, you can connect to everyone somehow. Find that way to connect, to activate the potential that exists in that interaction, in that relationship, in that future. So I hope that my goal in my life is to really, I want to be a billionaire, but that would be a billion lives that I have been able to activate potential in a billion lives. I'm working on it. So I got to go to the UN with you as well. So, okay, thank you. But anyway, I hope that you got some value out of that. Remember, potential, everyone has it. The potential is stored greatness. It's up to us. It's up to us to activate potential, not to deactivate. So when you leave here, be activators. Thank you.